And we are back with Mystic Fix on 101.9 and 94.1. I have in the studio with me two friends who I'm excited about your new project, the Curiously Carnal Tarot. This is a new tarot deck that Jeff Rundquist and Sandy Griffin have been developing. Incredible art. When you first showed it to me in development, I was very excited to get behind it, and I have written the foreword. And Jeff, you told us you have some news about the deck?
Yes, actually, our Kickstarter campaign is going to be live on June 1st, and we're hoping to have the deck printed and published around November.
Awesome. Yeah. So tell us what makes this deck special. I mean, I know because I've seen it, but especially for the listeners here who can't see the visuals, which we'll be posting on the video cast, tell us a little more about why you did the deck and what your purpose was.
Well, it was really kind of originated in a real serendipitous way. Sandy had called me and wanted to go to lunch, and she was in St. Louis and I was in Florida, and she was going on a cruise. Mm-hmm. And so we met, and I had forgotten really that she was an artist, and I just said I was wanting to create a tarot deck that was based kind of around the Western Hermetic principles, but I wanted to have the characters all nude. And so she just thought it was a great idea. And
why did you want that?
Well, I think, I've been a therapist, a mental health clinician for 30 years, and also a somewhat professional tarot reader. So I read tarot clinically, but I also read it outside of the office. And to actually engage with people directly around sex and sexuality and even sensuality was really rare, but also very necessary.
And I should stress that this is not a pornographic deck.
No, not at all. And that's why I think it worked so well when Sandy came in, because her history is as a children's book author, and so her style has this real innocence to it. Mm-hmm. And so there's this really beautiful combination of kind of eros and sensuality and sexuality, along with this real natural kind of innocence.
Nice.
And so as we progressed with both the art and the writing, it just turned out to be way more and better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Real happy with it. Yeah.
So Sandy, as an artist, I mean, there's 78 cards in the tarot.
That's correct.
And how long did it take you to conceive of Jeff's vision and the process of going back and forth on capturing certain things that he wanted you to symbolize?
Well, it's been almost 2 years since that first meeting that he described. Something interesting happened last January 31st where I fell ice skating and broke my femur.
Ooh.
And I was bedridden for weeks.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't go to work, and I couldn't hardly get out of the bed, but I could do artwwork. And so suddenly I had this...
you got a lot done, huh?
And I sort of streaked way ahead. Jeff was writing the pages page by page, but he was working full time, and I was in bed doing picture after picture after picture.
Wow.
He has finally caught up, though.
All right. As far as this Kickstarter, it starts when?
June 1st, it'll be live, yes.
Mm-hmm. And is there a goal you're trying to reach?
Oh, I think the goal we set on Kickstarter was like $7,000.
Okay.
Oh, say it specifically.
Oh, $69.99.
Oh.
$69.69.
Something about those numbers.
Yeah, and so we have a lot of money invested in it already. But we needed some more in order to get the quality cards.
And a lot of time and a lot of heart.
Yes.
And I think in this age of AI creations, it's really important to support real artists and people who are investing actual blood, sweat, and tears and broken bones in Sandy's case.
It's healed.
So why don't you talk about some of your favorite cards here and what makes them so special? And this could be either one of you. Maybe you want to take turns.
Well, I brought the Strength card, the Star card, and the Eight of Cups. The Strength card, there's an almost kind of BDSM-ish image of a woman on top of a man. The man has the head of a lion, and essentially, to me, the Strength card is really about the harmony. That strength really comes from the harmony between the rational side or the conscious and the kind of instinctual or subconscious side. There's always a dance between those two elements, between the conscious and the unconscious, and the more harmonious you get between those two, the actual more strength you have in terms of power to move things. And so they're in a room. There's a statue of Venus and Adonis. There's a full bright sun in the sky because the astrological association for Strength card is the sun. And so, to me, a lot of people like the Strength card. And
yeah, it's always been one of my favorites. And when I read for clients, I always say she tames the beast, and I think you really embody that there. Getting into the mythology behind the Strength card, it's actually Hercules with the Nemean lion and taming the animal nature. So again, it's really appropriate for the Curiously Carnal Tarot, I think.
Correct. And it's really, again, in so many of these cards, there's for me, is a theme of unity between the conscious and the unconscious, and that's one in particular where the unity between the two, or the dance, or the rhythm even of the feminine itself, is actually taming the rational masculine, and so
I'm glad you mentioned that, because these are strange times, and without getting too political, the balance of masculine and feminine, which is the Tao, and really the essence of everything on Earth, it's being challenged today. And our sponsor, Flight, they talk about the dance between the masculine and the feminine, and it's just, I had a friend tell me in A Course in Miracles group the other night, she said, the only thing in nature that is truly non-binary are GMOs, like GMO foods that are bred to be sterile. I thought, wow, how strange. And, do with that what you will. I'm not taking political sides or anything, but the masculine and feminine elements are essential to everything, and I think you do a really good job of embodying that. And so let's talk about a different card here.
Well, I think again in that regard, you look at the Star card, which a lot of readers tend to associate maybe healing with. For me, the Star card, and there's a picture of Newt essentially, but it is the Divine Mother, and she's being swirled up by a hurricane or a cyclone, and so it's really the essence of the Divine Feminine being received personally.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of healing in our current times tends to come from someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Like someone's supposed to heal us, whether it's the doctor or the nurse or
Right.
somebody else.
Outside sources.
And this is really an indication that really without your own grace, in other words, that healing is not likely, or at least a longer term permanent healing is not likely.
Yeah.
You may heal a certain set of symptoms, because to me, so much of medicine is psychosomatic.
Mm-hmm.
And so this card kind of shows that link. And I think in terms of the masculine and feminine, like in our times now, it's the poles are so kind of divisive. And,
right.
And what I'm always trying to show through the images and again through the writing is that, we possess both.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In other words,
it's the oneness. It's the unity.
The anima and the animus in each of us.
Mm-hmm.
And it is the union and the harmony between those things, not the this or that or the divisiveness.
Yeah.
Of it.
Yeah.
And so I'm always trying to pull it together in a kind of yogic or a way of union.
Mm-hmm. And Sandy, did you want to talk about your favorite card at all?
I did my best to go through the deck to find my favorite, and I've got 13 cards. But I will take a look at the moon card only because it reminds me a little bit of our process of developing these. Because normally it was over the phone or a video call where Jeff would try and explain. See, you have to remember that I had very little knowledge of tarot coming into this. I mean, just barely. And he had way more. So he had these big ideas, and my goal was to try and get on paper what was in his head about them. But he was also open to whatever images came into my head as he was describing sort of the background of the card or what it meant or what emotions are associated. Anyway, the moon card was supposed to be a frightening scene. And for some reason, I ended up illustrating a nightmare I actually had when I was about 11 years old.
Oh, wow.
I was falling asleep and I got this sneaky idea to pray for a nightmare. It's like, can you just for the excitement, what will happen if instead of, God bless, blah, 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 hey, God, I'm ready for a nightmare. I want an exciting night. And the most frightening nightmare of my life came about where I was swimming in the ocean and a man creature was grabbing my leg and dragging me under. And this is the image that ended up on the moon card. And I would...
That's so relevant, though, because, the moon card really represents the subconscious.
Okay.
So
sure.
These things in our subconscious that pull us under, I love that. I think that's very accurate.
That's probably exactly the way Jeff responded when I described my sketch to him. He's like, I want to see it. Keep going.
Wonderful.
And so that's an example of how some of these cards came about.
Very cool. Well, gosh, thank you both for coming here today. I will have a link on the Mystic Fix website and also on our video cast so people can follow more information about the Curiously Carnal Tarot and get on your Kickstarter and hopefully get some good support around this project. It's a very cool project, and I would not put my name on it and write a foreword if I didn't believe in your work. So,
and we want to give you a lot of thanks for the foreword. It was beautifully written.
Thank you.
Really reflected why I wanted to create this deck in the first place, so thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Your second line on the acknowledgement page.
Oh, look at that. Oh, thank you. All right. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to be one of our free tarot card readings in the third segment, you can register for our giveaway on mysticfix.com. Coming up, more free tarot card readings. You're listening to Mystic Fix on NewsTalkSTL 1019 and 94.1.